And then in the end, I always love to share that I found my lonely man.
Hello and welcome to Kept in Her Heart, where we talk about all things faith-related. I'm your host, Jenny Fuchs. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Sister Maddie Sjogren. She is with Pro Ecclesia Sancta out of the Twin Cities area in Minnesota. She has been with the sisters for about 6 years. She's in temporary vows with them, and she's also originally from Minnesota, so we're excited to have her. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. It's a gift to be here and to be able to share about what the Lord has done in my life. So, thank you for having me. Sharing my story. Yeah, it's always, I always ask myself, where should I start? But I think I have to start when I was little. So I originally come from a Catholic family that we always practiced our faith. I'm the oldest of 5 children, 1 boy, 4 girls. So, it was a very fun time growing up with them, and very grateful for my family. But I always start when I was young because I have this, it's actually not my memory, it's my mom's memory. Every kid has what they say they want to be when they grow up. And so my mom remembers me saying, I don't know, maybe when I was 4 or 5, that when I grew up, I wanted to be an employee in Walmart. I wanted to work at Walmart and find a lonely man and marry him. I don't know where I came up with that idea, but
aspirations.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do when I was really little. As I grew up, and when I was in college, that changed. Yeah, and I wanted to be a math teacher, actually. I really enjoyed teaching and sharing my excitement for math and just for life through teaching. So that's what I went to study for. But growing up, I don't remember ever being around sisters. There just weren't anywhere where I grew up. And I do have a faint memory of seeing a sister before with my grandpa. I used to go to a assisted living care with him that some sisters served at. So I do remember meeting one when I was maybe 8 or 9. But apart from that, I don't remember ever being really exposed. So it was never really an idea in my head, I guess, because I didn't see sisters. So, of course, I'm not going to picture myself as one because I didn't see them. I saw my mom and dad every day and many other beautiful families. But, so I wasn't actually really introduced to sisters until college. I met some when I was in my sophomore year of college. I met them through this group at my university, this women's group that we met once a week. And so there was a sister that also came to that group. And I just remember seeing her and talking to her and thinking, wow, young people do this. And it's not just in movies. And she's normal and funny and, cracks a joke here and there, and laughs and smiles and, talks about her day just like I do and, is living her faith just, as I'm trying to live my faith. And I don't know, I just saw maybe it was the first time it occurred to me that this is something that the Lord is still calling people to do. And so I just remember, that having that thought. I continued. Through college, I was, like I said, planning to be a math teacher, get married, have kids, It wasn't a bad plan, but of course it was my plan. I did grow up Catholic, and I did choose to practice my faith in college, but I don't think I had a very strong prayer life. But I had thanks be to God, I had really great friends in college and a very supportive family too that lived their faith. And so through those 2 means, I was really encouraged to grow deeper in my faith. And talking to this sister in this group too, I also felt, kind of the Lord pushing me to grow closer to Him and really not just pray some days, but pray every day. And I started with 5 minutes a day and it grew a little bit more each day, but that was really when my faith kind of came into full blossom, maybe, was in my college years. That's where my personal relationship with Jesus really began to grow and deepen. And as I was talking more to the Lord and trying to listen to him, that's where, of course, like any relationship, you're going to start to notice the Lord more in your daily life, and also start to hear his voice more, and hopefully be more open to it as well. So I have some memories of my college years. I think it was maybe between my sophomore and junior year, and I remember having this moment in my life where I was pursuing teaching. I was actually in New Mexico doing this summer program down there where I was teaching middle schoolers math and art. It was really fun. And I was also in a relationship at the time, and also growing in my faith life. So I was praying every day. And I remember experiencing in my prayer life during that summer kind of like it's always hard to describe because it's something that I experienced, but kind of like an interior frustration maybe, because I didn't feel fulfilled completely. And for me, it was really confusing because I do enjoy math. And so in my head, I was looking for the logical explanation for it, and it wasn't really there, because in my eyes, I was teaching, I was helping children, which is a good work, and I was in a relationship, pursuing this idea that I had that I was going to get married and have kids and raise a family, but it just didn't feel like it filled my heart the way I imagined I should feel fulfilled. And it confused me a little bit. I just, didn't really understand. And I always would kind of experience that as I was praying. And I don't know, you experience that and you kind of don't really want to know why. I was kind of scared, to ask the Lord, what's going on here? Like, what are you trying to say to me? And so at the end of that summer, I came back home to Minnesota and was preparing to start, I think, my junior year of college. And I saw the guy I was in a relationship with because we came back from the summer. And I remember experiencing that I don't know, kind of that sensation again of like, this isn't, I don't know, maybe what I'm created for. Like, I just didn't feel the Lord's peace in my prayer life. I don't really know how to express what I was experiencing in my spiritual life at that point, but I felt like there was something that I was missing maybe. And I prayed about that. I went to the Adoration Chapel actually and was praying about that. And, I told the Lord probably for an hour, I think I was babbling to him in the Eucharist, telling him, this is what I want. I'm doing these great things. I have this, all these things in my eyes and in the world's eyes that are great, but I still don't feel fulfilled or completely happy. And I told him, why isn't this working? This is my plan. Isn't it your plan? Don't you like what I like? But I finally reached this point where I reached silence, like interior silence, and I was just looking at him, gazing at him in the Eucharist. And I just remember being in prayer and reaching this moment of silence where I think I received this grace to be just open to the Lord in a way I hadn't before. And I remember hearing from him, not like this voice outside of me that was audible, but in my heart, in my soul. The reason that, I don't know, I kind of felt this lack of complete fulfillment or happiness was because he wanted me to just be his. And I don't know, in that moment I heard that and it was a little scary, I'll be honest. But there was a grace there that I knew, okay, I need to explore what the Lord is trying to kind of start revealing to me, and I don't know, almost this excitement to discover what would fulfill me completely. Because every human heart, I think, longs for that fulfillment, which only the Lord can fulfill, but he'll do that through whatever vocation he has called us to live and what he has created us for. And so, I don't know, there's kind of an excitement there too. And so I didn't know anything about religious life. I didn't know if that was what he was trying to show me, but I do remember thinking, Lord, if you want all of me, like I am willing to to see what that means. And so I remember that fall, I took a trip with my campus ministry at my university we went to Philadelphia. That was the year Pope Francis came to visit during this World Meeting of Families. And so we took a bus out there, a bunch of the college kids and the youth minister, or the college ministers there. And we got to see Pope Francis from a distance, he was there. But what really impacted me during that trip was all of the other people that I got to meet. And in that downtime, as you're waiting to see Pope Francis, you meet families, and there were priests everywhere and bishops everywhere and religious sisters everywhere, walking down the streets, the sidewalks. And I just remember being very attracted to all the sisters that I was seeing, because I had never seen dozens of sisters in the same place before. So I remember with my best friend just approaching every sister we could find and asking them, like, what's your story? Who are you? And I remember meeting, missionaries of charity and Dominican sisters and Franciscan sisters, and just seeing kind of the beauty of like the wholeness of God's church, and seeing families and children and just tons of people who share the same faith, which was really a beautiful experience. And I remember every time I talked to a sister, it's almost like you could see God's love, radiating from their eyes. Yeah. They had this joy that was very attractive to me. And it's like a joy you would see in anybody who's living their vocation. I remember seeing that in my parents' eyes as a child. When somebody is being fulfilled by the Lord in the vocation that He created them to live, you really see God's love radiate from them. And I just remember seeing that in a really special way in all the sisters that I was encountering, and just being very attractive to that. And then I remember returning from that trip and talking more to the sister in this group that I was a part of, and just asking her, like, what is religious life? What are these vows that you take? What is it like when you live in community? And just asking lots of questions, learning more. And I don't know if that's the inner teacher in me, but I just wanted to know more. And it always was exciting to hear what the answer was. And I do remember sometime that year going to a discernment retreat, just like a general discernment retreat that presented religious life, but also helped present some tools to help discern and really do it with the Lord. Because, sometimes, I remember thinking, like, okay, discernment, what does this mean? Does this mean I have to figure it out? Because, I have this mathematical brain. But yeah, that retreat was really helpful because it helped me to see that discernment is really it's a relationship with the Lord, and it's this journey with Him, and it's good discernment is loving the Lord and growing in that relationship with Him. And if you just focus on loving Him and receiving His love, God's very gentle, and He's going to show you what He is asking of you, and He wants to make you happy. He wants to be a reason for happiness. And so I was just learning, how to apply those tools to my prayer life and continue to just encounter the Lord in that way. And I remember really enjoying seeing the sisters' life too, because we were staying at their little convent, their little house there. And I went on this retreat with a couple other young women from my university, and one of them was my best friend. And after that weekend, I remember coming back and we had lunch together in the Commons. And we were chatting about our weekend, and I remember her asking me, so how was it? And I was like, I didn't really know how to express myself. I was like, it was great, but I didn't really know. I was kind of nervous to say it was the best weekend of, not the best weekend of my life, but a really good weekend because I spent a lot of time with the Lord. And I was like, how was it for you? And she said, oh, it was great. She had a very different experience than me, a good experience, but she just kind of realized that the Lord maybe was calling her to marriage, and she felt that kind of desire deepened in her or strengthened. I don't know. It just was a different experience. Whereas I was kind of in this other side of it, and I really liked it. I just wanted to stay there. She didn't. And I didn't really know how to tell her that, but I kind of remember thinking, oh boy, like, what does this mean? I don't know. this life is so attractive to me. I'm kind of scared of what that means, but I was still excited to continue discovering it, more about it. And it was just kind of funny to talk about that with her and have different experiences, great experiences, but they were different. And so, continuing that year of college and continuing growing in my life of prayer, I don't remember many details, but I just do remember it's like a magnet, maybe. Like the more you get closer to the Lord, the stronger the attraction is that will pull you closer together. And I do remember reaching a point in my discernment and always through prayer. Prayer is so important, where I really did think he was calling me to be only his, and he was giving me the grace to say yes to that. And so I did, and started really discerning with our order my senior year of college, and ended up joining a month after I graduated. And so that's kind of the journey, I guess, I went on with the Lord, and how he kind of worked through my life. And I'll be honest, like, it wasn't an easy as butter, like smooth as butter discernment process for me, because there were moments where I was scared and, I don't know, stubborn too. I didn't really want to know if the Lord was calling me to religious life, but somehow, since he's so gentle and he didn't want to give up on me, he kept, working and calling and trying to get my attention. And as long as I kept praying, eventually, like, he was gonna get me. I don't know. And so I don't know. When people ask me, like, what would you recommend for discernment? It's prayer. Number one thing, prayer. If you're in a conversation with the Lord, he's a very gentle God, and he's gonna show you what he's created you for, and he's gonna show you. He's gonna make it, I don't know, clear if we're really trying to listen and be open to him. It's not like it's this crazy complicated puzzle that you have to go all the way to here to find this piece and that piece. Usually, it's right there. Yeah. And so for me, I don't know. It was, I did think for a little bit, maybe I have to figure out where the Lord's calling me, but I don't know. The Lord worked through that as well, and help me see that no, like, it's right here. It's with Ecclesia Sancta, and I realized that through a moment of prayer as well. I remember being in a chapel one night praying about, Lord, like, where do I go? And I remember thinking about my family and how they always had my back. And I remember thinking about the children that I had served as I was learning to be a teacher, and remembering specific students that, maybe they didn't have the perfect situation in their life, but they would always talk to me about their family and how their family loved them, and they were great kids. And so I was starting to kind of see this connection that if you have a strong family that loves you and lives their faith, like, that's going to be a great place for saints to be made, is in the family that we, that's trying to reflect the Holy Family. Really, that's what God showed us when Jesus came to earth and lived in his family with Mary and Joseph. And so it's kind of like this little place where saints can be created. And so I just remember thinking, like, man, if we had more holy families in this world, it would be a different place. And I remember thinking, that's what, Pro Ecclesia Sancta, part of our charism to live and promote holiness is to walk alongside families, because it's really important to have holy families. And so I remember thinking, wow, like, I really have a fire in my heart for that. And so, I don't know, it was kind of natural once I started to see that that's what our charism is, and what the charism that the Lord had gifted me too. And then in the end, I always love to share that I found my lonely man. It's the Sacred Heart of Jesus who is asking to be consoled and loved and not forgotten. And so I don't work at Walmart, but I did find my lonely man. And I do feel fulfilled and happy. And of course, it's like any other vocation, right? In the sense that there's hard days, there's joyful days, there's suffering, there's pain, but I do know that this is what God wanted from me, or this is what He created for me, and I know that I'm happier than I ever would have been doing anything else, just being His. And so, just like I know my mom is happy, being married to my dad, because that's what she was created to do. And so, yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you for sharing that, and I can sense the joy in your vocation, and it's beautiful. And so, how did your family react? Were they like, "Yeah, I saw this coming," or were they surprised at all, or what did they say?
I don't think they were super surprised, because I think they saw me kind of on this journey with the Lord and growing more in my faith. I would come back from school, for Thanksgiving or whatever, and always be talking about, what was going on. And I think they kind of saw it little by little. Mm-hmm. And I remember the day I told my parents that I was thinking about religious life. I took them out to dinner, actually. So I think they knew something was up. Yeah. And I told them, I think, the Lord has given me a religious vocation, and I'm exploring, trying to discover what that means. And I remember my dad, it's kind of his personality, but yeah, he was happy. I remember him telling me, all your life, Maddie, I've told you, to follow your dreams, and if this is what's going to make you happy, like, I support that, which I was really grateful for. My mom, of course, I think a mother's heart is really special in the connection that she has with her children, and she was sad. Of course, I think any mom would be sad, because there is, you're giving your child back to the Lord. And so that's not an easy thing to do. The Lord, of course, gives you the grace to do that. And so she was supportive. She wasn't surprised, though. She told me, I knew it. Not like she knew it, but like deep down in her heart, like it wasn't out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, she was supportive, but of course, yeah, in that motherly human sense, sad. But what has been really beautiful is over these past 6.5 years now, I can't believe it's gone so fast, I've really been able to see that it's not just a vocation that the Lord has given to me, but something that my whole family is sharing with me. I've seen how the Lord is taking care of me, but He's also taking care of my loved ones, and I've seen them grow in their faith in a way that I didn't expect. And that's been really beautiful to see, and has helped me trust that, yeah, the Sacred Heart, He really keeps His promises, and He's going to take care of us and our loved ones. And so I've kind of seen it as this call for my whole family that we've shared together, which has been really beautiful to see, and something that I'm very, very grateful for. The Lord really, really poured out His graces, and I feel like our love for each other has actually grown stronger, which is something, that maybe you don't expect when you first join, because you're going to live somewhere else and live a different lifestyle. But the Lord purifies your love over time as He teaches you how to love. And so I do experience now that our family loves better than they maybe did before, because the Lord is teaching us to love like Him through our faith. And so that's really been a gift too.
And you said you were in a relationship for a while there.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have to, I assume you had to break it off with him, and yeah. was it framed in the sense of, I think I might have a call to the religious life, and so I need to discern that, and so we need a break, or like, how did that go for you?
Yeah, it was framed that way. I was a little surprised, but respected that. And then we both, continued our discernment, and he's married now and is living his vocation, and I'm living mine, and it kind of was framed in that way. I had to break it off, and
I imagine that was a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, it was part of the journey, so yeah.
Do you use your math degree in your day-to-day life?
So I did math and education. So I think more than like the mathy side, I use the education side every day, sharing the faith I work with middle schoolers right now. Okay. So those teaching skills I think are always going to be useful. And the math, I don't know, I guess it's still the way that my brain works. I'm very logical, and I like to find solutions to problems. So actually, I don't know, this is kind of a fun fact. Right now at our convent, one of the things that we kind of each have different responsibilities to kind of keep things, working and orderly, kind of working like a family too, everyone has their chores. So I'm in charge of maintenance of the convent. And so that's been really fun because I like to, see things and figure out how they work. And I don't know, if there's a pipe leaking, figure out the solution to help it stop leaking. So that's been really fun.
Cool.
Something I never experienced or expected to do. So there's that side of it, I guess. But
that's awesome. What's your favorite part of being a sister so far?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think living in the same house as Jesus. That's a huge gift, to live in a place where there's a chapel I can visit at any time of the day, to visit my spouse and talk to him, and also pray for people and just be with him. I think that's one of my favorite parts. Also living in community too. I have this huge family of sisters, and that's been a huge gift. There's a lot of joy shared there, and that's another favorite part, I think.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comments below, and let us know what has been your experience. Have you seen sisters in real life? What's been your experience with them? And and if you want to check out their convent, I will leave the information for them in the description. Have a great day.